You saw the lake? You dabble your toes in it? It was cold, yeah? You're right. If she only dabble her toes swimming in it, it's really cold.
When looking for the perfect card to reward your appetite for life, look no further.
Ladies and gentlemen, be advised, the meeting will begin in about 4 minutes. Grab your seats, grab your lunch. Meeting will begin in 4 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute warning. The meeting is about to begin. Find your seats, grab your lunch, silence your cell phones. The meeting is about to begin. Please and thank you.
David Stein here? Hello, everybody. Hey, team, welcome, welcome. Thank you. So I'm Joe Garalka, president of Oakland number 3, and you can call me Coach Joe. Oakland Rotary was founded in 1909. Now, 116 years later, we're the 3rd oldest Rotary club in the world, of now more than 45,000 Rotary clubs with 1.2 million Rotarians in over 200 countries. We have local and global impact. At Oakland Rotary number 3, we gather as business and community leaders to exchange ideas, enjoy fellowship, and take action to address needs in the world and in our community of Oakland. And of course, to have some fun too. Welcome, I'm so glad you're here, either in person or online. This week, we have a meeting sponsor. So what is a meeting sponsor, you might ask? Well, for $300, you can promote your business or an event to the entire club of 250 local business leaders, both in person and online in our news, or online and in person, in the mail in our Live Oak newsletter. It's probably the best promotion deal you can get out there. So let's introduce our meeting sponsor, Daniel Cardenas, Director of Campus Operations at Oakland Hills Campus, formerly known as Holy Names University. All right, well, thank you very much. It is truly a pleasure to be here and to sponsor the meeting this afternoon. Shout out to David Stein and to Joe that got me to join the Rotarians, and also to David for teaching me how bad of a golfer I am. I know he's on vacation somewhere, but he did put up with me for 18 holes, so I want to publicly apologize to him for the display I put on over at Sequoia Country Club. But anyways, that whole apology just cost me $100, so let's get on to the business at hand. I have a personal quote that I love that we kind of live to there at the Oakland Hills campus. We always say that we do well by doing good, and it's something that I truly believe in. We want to give back to the community as much as we can, and we open our doors to the community. So if you don't know where we're located at 3500 Mountain Boulevard. Some of you guys have actually been there before. If you haven't been there for a Rotary meeting, you were probably there when it was at one point known as Holy Names University. The gentleman that's sitting back there that's taking great footage of myself, his name is Luis Guerra. He's one of our senior guys there as well. He worked at Holy Names University for 39 years. And I'm really excited that he's joining us today as well, because he gets to see the wonderful work that the Rotarians do. I want to get right to the message. The message that I have for you guys today is we are really pivoting this campus. So a lot of people always ask me, they say, well, what's going to happen there? We want there to be more educational type of ventures there. But right now, we're not attracting as many educational tenants or possible tenants as we would like. So one of the other things that we've thought about is there's a desperate need for more filming in Oakland. And I know that's a huge, jump from like, hey, education. But when you have 60 acres that's open, fully furnished, where you can walk literally from a gym, a Division II gym, into a classroom, a nursing simulation center, and then be at a full furnished library, and then jump from there into a 389-person theater, and then go from there into dorms, and then go into a dining area, all fully furnished, ready, pretty much turnkey ready for filming. So the film community has truly embraced us. We want to embrace them as well. I wanted to invite you all to come out to a wonderful event that we're having on Thursday, August 14th. The event goes from 5 to 8 p.m. And again, mark your calendars. Thursday, August 14th. I want to see every Rotarian there. It's going to be sponsored by Scott's Restaurant. They're going to bring great food. There's going to be great cocktails. We're going to have a live musician there as well. We'll have tours of the campus. And in addition to that, we'll have some industry professionals that'll be there speaking about filming and the importance of mobilizing more arts, music, and theater, and more importantly, filming in the city of Oakland. And we'll have some of our local dignitaries there as well. So again, mark your calendars, Thursday, August 14th. You're invited to Oakland Hills campus. We're partnering with Make It Bay as well. And the last thing I wanted to mention was, yes, 5 to 8 p.m. Thank you. And the last thing I wanted to mention was also mark your calendars for September 14th. We have a pediatric cancer event that Jack Black, the actor, has gotten behind. It's called Music for a Cure. It's in partnership with the Oakland Civic Orchestra, and this is going to be a really beautiful event. Also, all the proceeds from this event go to Sanford Medicine in the Children's Hospital. That is on September 14th at 4 p.m., and it's at the theater. And I want to see every Rotarian come out and support that event. It's going to be a beautiful event. We'll have a young warrior that is in remission, an 8-year-old named AJ, that's going to actually be leading and conducting the orchestra. So on that note, I want to say thank you to the Rotarians. Thank you, Joe, for having me. I think I may have gone over. Charge me. I'll pay the extra. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, for all you do for Rotary and for our community. I'd like to take a moment and introduce visiting guests and visiting Rotarians. So if we have any visiting Rotarians in the house, would you please stand? I know of one. This is my better half and president of the Delta Antioch Club, Martha Gorelka. Martha, welcome.
I do love you.
And then we have so many guests. If all the guests in the room would please stand and be recognized, I'd appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us. I'm certain you're here like my wife. Even though I'm president, she said I came to hear our speaker, not you. So now I'd like to welcome Moya Robertson, a seasoned 17-year realtor with Compass Bay Area, based out of Montclair, Oakland. Moya will give us a thought for the day. Thank you, Moya.
Everything is impossible until it's done. This is a famous quote by Nelson Mandela that suggests that initial doubts or perceived obstacles can be overcome through sustained effort and action. And the quote is especially true when backed by a community such as we have here. Sustained action also far surpasses the sum of its parts when we gather here as a community and support one another to achieve great results. And do not forget to celebrate our accomplishments, which reminds me of the 4th of July. What a great parade that was. Because inspired action, beyond sustained, both can grow exponentially.
Thank you, Moya. I appreciate your inspirational thought for the day. So we have such a dynamic speaker today. I know there's going to be lots of questions. So in the interest of trying to get as many questions in the time we have, we're going to ask that you write your questions during the program. There's some pens and paper on your table, and if you'd get them to either Jason Weiselman, Jason Bodel, or Jason Schmidt, will you guys raise your hand out there? All the Jason. Would you guys raise your hand so people know where to get their questions? And then they will get it to our Vice President, Merlin Edwards, and Merlin Edwards will direct those questions to our speaker today. So please welcome Shara Chavez-Yoel, who is the local government affairs manager with PG&E. Sarah will introduce the speaker. I know you're all dying to hear.
Thank you. I have the honor of introducing our CEO, Patti Poppe. Patti Poppe is the CEO of PG&E Corporation, which is headquartered like walking distance. We all walked over here. We have a beautiful view of the lake. I think it's the best view in Oakland, actually. Our 29,000 coworkers deliver energy to 16 million people across Northern and Central California and are helping lead the state's decarbonized future. Patti joined PG&E in January 2021 after 5 years as president and CEO of CMS Energy and its principal subsidiary, Consumers Energy. She previously served in other leadership roles at Consumers Energy as power plant director at DTE Energy in Michigan and started her career at General Motors. She is also the first female executive to serve as a CEO of not one, but 2 different Fortune 500 companies. And with that, it is my honor to introduce Patti Poppe.
Thank you, Sarah. I noticed Sarah had to be on her tiptoes and I had to raise up the microphone, so she's small but mighty. Thank you so much for having me here today. It really is an honor and a privilege, and we're proud to call you neighbors. I'm here to give you a pep talk. I am very optimistic about California and about actually the ability to save our planet. And so I want to just share a few of my thoughts and bust a few myths with all of you here today. So first of all, I think there's a lot happening in our world, but one of the things that is happening is more and more extreme weather and the effects of more and more extreme weather driven by climate change. And I personally came to PG&E because I knew at the forefront of the effects of climate change and the opportunity with a willing and active and engaged citizenry, we could in fact tackle climate change at scale. And nowhere better than PG&E to do that. So it was a big driver in coming to PG&E. You want me to raise the mic up a little bit? Yeah, thank you. A big driver for coming is because the planet is calling. And we don't have to look far to know the effects of devastating wildfire. And I wear a little ladybug on my jacket every day in honor of a little girl who died in a fire, the Zog fire back in 2020. She was in her car with her mother trying to get out of a fire, and both of them perished on that day. And I can't imagine anything more terrifying and more devastating. And so I put this pin on every day, a different ladybug pin, as a reminder of what we're actually up to. Phalo loved ladybugs. She had a ladybug collection. And I remember every day my commitment to her to make it right and make it safe. And the people of PG&E are working every day to make that true. And we've made real progress. And so today I just want to share some reasons to believe. Let's see here. Well, I'm going to skip through these. These are the reasons not to believe, but it's too hard. There's lots of quotes and comments and reasons why people think that tackling climate change is too difficult. But we believe that we can. And one of the first myths that I want to challenge is the myth that PG&E can't actually help. Some people believe that PG&E has passed its prime and doesn't have what it takes to tackle such a significant issue as climate change. And I'm here to tell you that we do have reasons to believe, and the most important reasons are these reasons, and they're my coworkers. I'm going to somehow back that up. Oh, geez. I think what's happening, there's a delay, and I'm getting trigger finger up here. Okay. The people of PG&E absolutely are easy to believe in. And those of you who know a PG&E or know that they get up every day to serve. Nobody went to the utility to find their fame and fortune. We all join the utility to serve our neighbors, and there's no greater call than to do just that. And I know Rotarians more than anybody else in the world know that to be true, that business can be a force for good and that companies and the people who work for them can make a difference in our communities. And I want to give you a couple key points of progress. We're leading a huge cultural transformation at PG&E to focus on safety and on affordability. And I want to give you some stats of progress. We're not done yet, don't get me wrong. We're working every day to get better. But number one of the most important statistics I want to share with you today is about my coworkers and their safety on the job. When I joined the company back in 2021, we were losing a coworker on the job about every 90 days. Someone died in the act of working for PG&E. That is not normal. And I think it was a symptom of the stress and the anxiety and the culture that had been created to react to challenges versus preventing them. And I'm happy to report today is our 896th day since our last fatality on the job at PG&E. Now, what I want you to take away from that is that the only people who can make that happen is the people themselves. My coworkers on the job every day choosing to do the job safely, choosing to follow the safety standards, choosing to put in the appropriate controls because they matter, because we value them and they value each other. And when we talk, we have a part of our purpose statement, we talk about leading with love at PG&E. And at first, when I said that to my coworkers, there was a little bit of eye rolling. In fact, some of you in the room might be rolling your eyes, but I can't see you from here. All I can see is love in the room. And what I'll tell you is the most important time to show love to a coworker is on the job when someone's about to do something unsafe. And I think that love is permeating our team and our culture, and that's a very meaningful statistic that we're going to keep rolling on that progress. The second thing I want to share with you is that I know there's been a lot of concerns about bills, and I'll take questions on that later in the talk. What I want you to know is bills are flat at PG&E year over year. And in fact, I just saw a report this morning that shows the energy bills nationwide are up 8% this year. And bills here at PG&E are flat. Next year, our bills are forecast to go down. Next year, national bills are forecast to go up 4 to 6%. We are breaking the trend, and we're doing that through the implementation of massive process improvements so we can do more work safely at a lower cost. And so I'll just, foretell for you that the people of PG&E are dedicated to serving you. We know that we've lost your trust in many ways, and we're working every day to regain that. So I believe that the PG&E team can absolutely be a key in then tackling this bigger, more existential risk of climate change. Now, one of the things that people think is hard to do in California is build stuff. Well, let me bust that myth for just a minute. First of all, we did this. Everybody recognize that thing? That's the Golden Gate Bridge. And do you know, it took 15 years to permit the Golden Gate Bridge. It's always been hard to build stuff in California. That's not a new phenomenon. It only took 5 years to build it. And so it's always important to do the necessary permitting and get the right engagement to build things. But we've built things in California that are meaningful. The Golden Gate Bridge obviously is one. This is the pump storage facility in Kings County. It's called the Helms Pump Storage Facility, one of the cleanest energy producers in the world. It's got 2 naturally occurring water reservoirs. We put a tunnel in the mountain back in the 70s. And every day since then, we pump water up when there's excess power, put it up into the upper reservoir. And when we need power, when we're short on power, those same motors, rotating in reverse, generate electricity, and the water flows down, and gravity-fed, naturally produced electricity. Lowest cost energy on the system. And we did that. We built that here in California. We're doing this now. We're undergrounding power lines. And let me bust a myth about the undergrounding power lines. We're doing this in our highest risk areas. We've taken a stand that catastrophic wildfires shall stop. And part of that requires electric infrastructure that is safe and built for purpose. In some of our areas, not everywhere, but on about 8% of our lines, we need to bury those underground, just like the gas lines are underground. Why? Because they're safer there. Some power lines need to be underground, and here's the good news. I know a lot of people think your bill is up because we've been burying the power lines. Let me bust that myth right now. About $1 a month in your bill is for burying the power lines. $20 a month is for vegetation management, cutting down trees. If I bury the power lines, I don't have to cut down the trees. We can maintain our beautiful landscape and get the highest risk lines out of the air for less than it's costing us to trim all those trees. So we are actually saving money by burying the power lines and making it safe. So I don't have to worry about a child and her mother trying to get out of their home. We have the opportunity to build infrastructure for purpose here. Another myth. How can you fight climate change if you have no substitute for fossil fuels? Well, let me tell you how California is leading in this arena. We have built more renewable generation and more clean energy resources in California over the last 4 years than many, many people can even imagine. And we've added battery storage to our renewable energies to make it dispatchable, clean and affordable. The energy that PG&E delivered to our customers last year was 98% greenhouse gas free. We can deliver clean energy. Now let's go back in time a little bit. This is a picture of one of our steam plants out at Moss Landing. This is how we used to produce power. It was fossil generated. Today, that same location looks like this. That's a battery facility that's safe. Each of those individual compartments prevent fires from spreading. They're very safe and very contained and very affordable. And this is the complement then to renewable energy, so that renewable energy can be stored and dispatched when we need it. You know, some people argue that the grid's getting rickety. This is a beautiful grid we have here in California. And we're showing the world that you can have a clean energy system and keep the lights on, and we're going to continue to make it more and more affordable. So another myth that I want to bust today is that the grid can't handle all this new electric demand. A lot of people are worried about the grid. And so if we're going to decarbonize the economy, you have to have more electrification. Transportation is the #1 source of carbon emissions today. So we need more people to transition to driving electric vehicles in order to reduce the carbon emissions and help us work together to save the planet. A lot of people worry the grid can't possibly be ready for all those electric vehicles. Well, let me just remind you, last year, 2024, we had the hottest July on record. In fact, we had 8 consecutive days of heat warnings in the Bay Area. That had never happened before. What you don't remember, there were no flex alerts, no calls to conserve, no panic attacks, because we have built clean energy resources. Those batteries, we've added 12 gigawatts, that's a big number, you're just going to have to take my word for it, of battery storage, complementing 15 gigawatts of new renewable energy in the last 4 years in California. Our grid is able to handle it. And let me show you a couple things about how the grid can handle more electric demand. First of all, back in the day, when electricity was first being generated and produced and provided, it was for the purposes of street lights. So Thomas Edison and Mr. Westinghouse had a big battle going on, and Mr. Tesla, not Elon Musk, but Mr. Tesla, the original, had an original battle to figure out how to deliver electricity to our communities. So they built these power plants in the communities, and they were for the purposes of powering the street lights. Well then, a few elite were able to put electricity in their homes, and then they figured out that they had all this extra power in the daytime. And so they had extra power in the daytime that was only being used at night, and if they could use it during the day, they could make electricity more affordable. Hence, electric streetcars. And followed by electric streetcars came electric appliances. The utilities all across the country started teaching people how to use electric appliances. I mean, look at this little saying on the side: does so much, costs so little. PG&E service. And that is because, and this is the key point for today I want you to hear, they could say that because as they added new customers and new uses of electricity to that grid, they could lower the unit cost of energy. More people were sharing the cost of that grid. and therefore the price of electricity was going down. So no longer was electricity only for the elite in their homes. Everyone had access to electricity. Then we electrified our rural communities, and every time we connected more people to the grid, the cost of electricity went down. Well, we're about to enter that same exact phase. We've had flat demand for 50 years. EVs are the first new demand to the grid that's actually dynamic and growing here in California. So we can both decarbonize the economy, electrify our transportation, and make the grid both more reliable and more affordable. So there's a phenomenon I just want to talk about, and I'll make this quick because it's pretty nerdy. But I'm a nerd, so I can't help myself. I got to talk about the duck curve. How many of you have heard of the duck curve? Okay, all right, I got to show you a little something here. Okay, so this curve, this chart, shows electric demand. That's that vertical axis for PG&E. That's in gigawatts. And then the time of day across any average day in the year. In 2015, we had pretty much level usage of electricity. And when people got home at night and your house lights come on, then the demand went up just a little bit in the evening times. And then we all go to bed, the lights all go off, and you level back out to pretty much steady demand of electricity. Well, then in 2020, the curve started to look like this. Now it starts to look like a duck. If you squint your eyes and follow that orange line, it looks a little bit like a duck, if you can see it. If it looks like a butterfly, you're going to have to talk to somebody else about that. This is a duck. So this was in 2020. Here's what's happening here. Solar is becoming a larger source of energy in California in 2020. And so what happens, the phenomenon that solar causes, yes, it's abundant and has free fuel from the sun, but what happens is fundamentally people use less electricity wherever solar is being deployed while the sun is shining. But then you see when the sun goes down and we turn our lights on, we still have a pretty similar peak at night. We build the grid for that peak. So if that peak grows, we add infrastructure. When we can hold that peak flat or shrinking, then we can save money in building the grid. The unit cost of electricity has been going up over this period of time because we've been using less units. Think of it like back in the day when I was telling you they had extra power during the day. We had extra power. This was 2020. Here's what 2023 looked like. So in fact, what's happening in California today is we're paying Arizona to take power. We pay them to take our power because we have too much. So we're overproducing energy right now during the day. So the most important thing we can do today is actually use new clean uses of energy, so electric transportation can actually fill up the belly of this duck. And the cool thing about cars, they charge in about 4 hours. Look, when we have extra power. If we have them charged during the day, then everybody wins. Not just the EV buyer, but everybody wins, because we can more fully utilize this grid of ours. So we have an objective at PG&E to get 3 million people driving electric vehicles. Right now, in our service area, we have about 750,000 customers drive electric vehicles. We have the highest penetration of EV usage here in California and in our service area. We have, in fact, last year in Santa Clara County, 42% of new vehicles sold were electric. So I'm going to encourage you all to imagine driving an electric vehicle. The total cost of ownership continues to go down. And I'll tell you a few more things about cost savings associated with EVs. But this is a really important story that I think people are confused about. They think more EVs means electricity will get more expensive. I want to bust that myth here with all of you today. More EVs means the cost of electricity is going to go down because we're going to fill in the belly of that duck. And you're going to sound so smart at your next cocktail party when you talk about the duck curve. People are going to go, ooh, that's impressive. So fundamentally, the question is electricity too expensive? Is energy too expensive? I just want you to know that there's a lot that we can do to more fully utilize the grid and lower the cost of energy. So let me run a video here so you can hear that in quicker
Two things
term,
are true
so see how
today.
this goes.
Demand for electricity has been essentially flat for decades, and we only use about 45% of our grid's capacity most days of the year. The future will look different, and that's good for everyone. Demand will double by 2040 from uses like EVs, homes, and data centers. We'll continue to invest in the infrastructure needed to serve customers with clean power. But we'll use more of the grid's capacity and lower costs for everyone. For example, say 5 people share a pizza and it's $10 each. When 10 people share the same pizza, it costs $5 each. Now, here's a simple equation that shows how customer energy prices are calculated. The costs of building the grid are divided by the overall amount of energy used to equal cost per unit of electricity. With higher demand increasing the amount of energy used, prices can come down for everyone.
So not only can we decarbonize the economy, we can do it at a lower cost for everybody. I want you to know there's no reason to give up or be worried. The time now is to decarbonize. The data center, maybe you've heard some news about AI and people talking about data centers, and maybe data centers are a big tax on the grid and they're going to make energy more expensive. Actually, for us, because we've got this excess energy on the grid, we can build out and serve those data centers and reduce bills. We're forecasting anywhere up to 10 and maybe even 20% reduction in bills because we're adding new energy demand to the grid. This is great news. That new energy demand, I just want you to think for a minute. When I'm talking about a data center, yes, they use energy. We've got excess capacity available that we can serve them with, and they're paying new revenue. That new revenue that they'll pay will actually pay for us to modernize and decarbonize our grid. In the absence of that new load, it's us. We're going to have to pay to modernize that grid. So I'm super excited that we've got new customers for the first time in decades. This is a phenomenon that's happening worldwide, definitely happening across the country. But we here in California, we're the home of Silicon Valley. We're the home of Apple, Meta, Google, Tesla, NVIDIA. All of those companies are leading this technology frontier. As we power their growth, we get to lower everybody's bills. It actually can be a winning, virtuous cycle, and I'm really excited about that. And let me just hit one last point on the economics of decarbonization. So it starts with, first, people using less energy, and I've just been talking about us using more energy, but think about the trade of electricity for gasoline. So gasoline is a less efficient fuel than electricity. So when somebody switches to an electric vehicle, mile for mile, they fundamentally use less energy if you're in an electric vehicle instead of an internal combustion engine. So number one, you're using less energy as we decarbonize. But number two, we're lowering our carbon emissions. So carbon emissions, which is a fundamental driver of climate change, we're forecasting can go down 65% by 2040 here in California as a commitment to the global attempt to lower carbon emissions. And ultimately, every customer in our service area then will spend 30% less on energy as we decarbonize. So not only can it be clean, it can be safe, it can be resilient, and it can be affordable. And so this is your pep talk for today. Yeah, thank you. And like you shared at the beginning of my, before I spoke, your quote for the day is, believe it, wait, what was it? Everything is impossible until it's done. And I say, let's do this, right? And this is one of my favorite quotes, so to complement the quotes of the day, great is the one who plants the trees whose shade they may never know. And we at PG&E are definitely making decisions and building infrastructure for our children's children. And we want to know that we didn't kick the can down the road. This was our time, this was our era, and that we've done our part. Now, my only request is that we don't plant those trees by the power lines. So, with that, I'd love to open it up for questions.
Thank you, Patty, so much for sharing with us what PG&E is doing every day to provide us our lifeblood power in a safe and an environmental conscious way. So Merlin, do we have some questions for Patty?
Yes, we do.
Do I get to blow the whistle or no? Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it.
As a matter of fact, you will never be able to answer all the questions we have. So
Okay.
we're trying to go through them to
Okay.
pick the ones that I think are more important. Your 2027 through 30 general rate case proposal aims for the smallest rate increase in a decade while keeping combined bills flat through 2030. How confident are you in managing rising capital expenditures like wildfires, mitigation, and undergrounding without passing costs to the ratepayers?
Well, that is a very informed question. So we did file a general rate case. That's where we file and request revenues. We filed that a couple months ago for 2027 through 2030. It's the lowest ask we've had in a decade. It actually, if we received everything we asked for, would hold bills flat from today. We don't always get everything we ask for. So it's very possible that our bills will go down as a result of that rate case. And let me tell you how that's possible. My team at PG&E has been implementing a lean operating system. That is born out of the best practices of all businesses that find ways to make the way they do their work more efficient. Let me give you one example. We do a lot of inspections on our power lines to make sure that they're safe and resilient against wildfire. Well, it wasn't that long ago, call it 2 years ago, we had people with clipboards going out, walking the power lines, and we have 125,000 miles of power lines, looking up there, assessing and marking on a form and turning the form into someone, and then somebody taking that form and turning it into a work order. Today, we use drones, we use AI, they use visual imagery, they bring all of the data in, they get a more accurate review. We've increased our inspections by 600% and reduced the cost to do that by almost a half. So we are changing how we do work. I think that's a big part of why our safety has improved, because people are owning and improving their work every day. So I'm very confident that that general rate case will result in flat to declining rates.
Thank you. How is PG&E coping with handling the federal disdain for climate change or alternative energy?
Wait, can you repeat that again?
How is PG&E coping with handling the federal disdain for climate change and alternative energy?
So one of the things I've learned in my time in the utility industry is that at the end of the day, the choices do have to be economic. So it's pretty hard to argue when you can save the planet and do it at a lower cost. If it costs more, I think that's where you get into controversy. And so I think there is misinformation about the fact that addressing climate change inherently means we're going to have to spend more or it's going to be more expensive. If everybody understood the economics that I shared with you that shows we can actually lower costs while decarbonizing, then I don't think it matters what side of the aisle you're on. Everybody wants to save money, and if it also saves the planet, maybe you don't care about the planet, but it does that, that's fine as long as it's saving you money. For some people, they want to save the planet. Good, you do that. And if you don't care about saving money, I don't know who you are, but you know, then you can meet both sides of the aisle's objectives when we can do this in a way that actually lowers costs. That's why we're so focused on affordability.
How many rate increase applications have been sent to the PUC that have not been dissolved yet?
There are several active rate proceedings, and sometimes there's things that we have to file procedurally, so they call them a rate filing, but they're not necessarily going to increase rates. If we're going to pass cost savings, like some of the things I've talked about, onto customers, we have to file a rate proceeding, but it might lower rates. So what's most important is to know net and net, Rates are flat this year. We've stabilized bills. Next year, they're scheduled to go down, even if there's 6 or 7 filings. Don't let the media get you confused about that. Just because there's multiple proceedings, many of those proceedings result in lower costs. And then with the 2027 through 2030, we're talking about them actually going down even further. So we can do rate proceedings that result in rate savings, not just rate increases.
I get phone calls every day about PG&E rebates available to me. It sounds like a scam. Is it for real?
There are many scams that are happening out there. People impersonating PG&E people on the phone or at your door. I will tell you, we will never call you and ask you for your private information. In fact, this happened about a month ago. We're implementing a new customer website. I apologize right now if any of you have attempted to log on in the last month. It's been a little rocky. So we're implementing, it's significantly better, it's more secure, it will be better. You're going to one time have to dual authenticate. You're going to have to put in a password, but then from then on, your ability to get in is going to be a lot easier, et cetera. But what happened is we had some people who had trouble getting in, and of course the boss, I had a big idea, well, just call them. Call the people who had trouble and have them, we'll reach out to them. Why do we have to wait for them to call back? And my team reminded me, Patty, we don't ever call customers and tell them to contact us or to give us their payment information over the phone. People, that always has to come from you. So we're never going to call you and ask for your payment information. We're never going to call you to offer you those things.
Merlin, I think this will be our last one.
What are your thoughts on where nuclear fits into the long-term energy strategy, and is it safe?
That's a great question. PG&E owns and operates the Diablo Canyon Nuclear Power Plant. And it is one of the safest operating industrial facilities in the world. And I'll tell you, just this morning at 5 o'clock, I was on a call with the other nuclear operators across the nation. Nuclear energy has a very important role to play. It is carbon-free. There are very safe ways to take care of the waste and it's a very small amount of material that is the result of producing nuclear energy. The state extended Diablo Canyon's operating license for 5 years through 2030. We're in the process of filing an application with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission for a 20-year license. I really believe that Diablo Canyon is a very important and safe and extremely affordable form of energy to continue to operate here in California.
Thank you. We have lots of questions that were not able to be answered, so I'm going to give it to her staff, and at some point in time, we'll have the answers to those questions. But thank you very much for your questions, and thank you, Patty.
Patty, it's an absolute honor to have you with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And
I'm proud to be your neighbor.
And I want to thank you for so generously supporting our local community and supporting our gala on a regular basis. In your honor, we're going to make a donation to Polio Plus, so please know that you're helping end polio in the world. It's Rotary's signature project. Over 4 decades, we've reduced the reduced the polio cases 99.9%, and it's now down to being endemic in just 2 countries, 2 war-torn countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan. So we will eradicate polio with your efforts. And I want to present you a Rotary 4-way test coin. The Rotary 4-way test is kind of our golden rule book to follow. And we are so pleased and honored that you joined us today.
Thank you so
Patty.
much. So great to be with all of you.
Thank you again, Patty. Now I want to welcome a new player to the team. Her sponsor is none other than Jack McAvoy. Jack McAvoy, have you heard of him? Jack, first I want to thank you for sponsoring a member this year, and I'm present you with a 4-way test coin. I think you know what the 4-way test is all about, and I appreciate it very much. Now please introduce us to our newest Oakland Rotarian.
I think it's appropriate that we're introduce a new Rotarian today who's in the gas station business. It is my distinct honor to introduce our newest new member of Oakland Rotary. She serves as the Vice President of Ken Betts, Inc., and has a storied association with our club. Her grandparents have a combined 83 years of membership in Oakland Rotary, and her grandmother was the first female president of our club. Two interesting facts. One, she played female rugby at Piedmont High. And two, she danced with the Oakland Ballet's performance of the Nutcracker. Please join me in welcoming to Oakland Rotary, Marissa Betts.
Marissa, welcome to the Oakland Rotary team. Thank you. We need new talent like you to continue to be vibrant and active in our local community and to keep our winning tradition alive. And to give you, let me give you your Rotary pin. Where is it? Here it is, your Rotary pin.
Thank you.
That Rotary pin is recognized worldwide, and now you have 250 new Oakland Rotary friends and 1.2 million friends around the world, Rotarians as well. I have a packet here for you that includes that Rotary 4A test we talked about, which is our Bible, and I've also got here a cap for you. So welcome to the Oakland Rotary team.
Thank you.
I give you our newest Oakland Rotarian superstar, Marissa Betts. Welcome. Ah, looks like we have some bell ringers out there. Thank you for getting my attention. Mary?
I'd like to ring twice. I would like to ring the bell for Marissa Betts, and I'm also ringing the bell on behalf of past Rotarian Pat Young.
Thank you, Mary. Who's that back there? Is that Shannon Hackley, our astounding past president?
It's so nice to be back here for what. Anyway, I'm ringing the bell for Marissa. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. We're so excited.
I too would like to ring the bell for Marissa Betts.
Rick Draper?
I'd like to ring the bell for Marissa Betts and Jack McAvoy.
So is that 2 rings or one? Are you spreading the rings? 2 rings, 2 rings.
Jack?
Oh, I'm coming to you, Alex.
I think Jack wants to ring the bell.
Great, I'm coming to you, Jackie boy.
Alex Olson.
Marissa Betts.
Yay, thank you.
Easy. All right, Jackie. I'm coming to you. Don't you sweat it.
I'm so excited to have another Betts in the club because they've given a hell of a lot to this club over the years. So congratulations to the young one.
I haven't been here for a long time, but I'm Kathy Kelleher, and I will ring the bell for Marissa.
Fantastic.
I should have said earlier on.
Do it, Joe.
But ringing the bell is a $100 generous donation to our Oakland Rotary Endowment, which funds our both international and community service projects.
Okay, Grandma wants to say something.
Betts.
I'll ring the bell for this girl. Thought you might.
All right, fantastic.
And I'm going to ring the bell for Marissa Betts. I spent 2 weeks in Africa with her, and I got to know her very well. We were in the Masai Mara at a Mara village, and I can't tell you all the school children that surrounded her as she presented them with coloring books and crayons and pencils. She's so thoughtful. She is going to make a dynamic Oakland Rotarian Who knows, she might be our 30th female president, I don't know. Now I'd like to bring up, is Mark Rosen, did Mark Rosen? No, okay. I'd like to bring up past president Michael Bruck. He's going to talk about an event that our club participated very early in this Rotary year. Michael?
Thank you, President Joe, and I'd like to ring the bell for Marissa as well. The Oakland Rotary Club proudly participated in the annual City of Piedmont 4th of July parade. This year's parade drew a large crowd that featured over 50 community groups, floats, bands, and local organizations. And the parade theme was Traditions Thrive in 2025. And our entry, our Rotary entry, celebrated our long-standing commitment to service and the values of community and volunteerism that are part of the American tradition. The Oakland Rotary float utilized Ashby Lumber's flatbed truck, owned by our member Emily Morgan. It was decorated in white and blue bunting and flags, along with a giant rotary wheel. Carla Betts' bubble machine added to the festivities, along with the kids on the flatbed and the Oakland Rotaries riding their bikes alongside. There 37 participants included members, friends, families wearing Oakland Rotary hats, hi Mark, who rode, cycled, or walked alongside the float and handed out our Rotary 408 test coins to the spectators. Members also carried signs highlighting the club's service to local and international communities. Past President Shannon Hackley rode in Dana Sack's Corvette, and President-elect Merlin rode in Dana Sack's wife's Nissan convertible. The Rotary float was pictured in the July 9th edition of the Piedmont Post, our local weekly paper, and on the city's parade video. A huge thank you to all the dedicated members who brought our float to life, especially Carla Betts and Michael Bruck for ensuring the club's participation, Carla for the decorations and flags and the signs, Gail Okama for leadership in decorating the truck, Dudley Thompson for the car banners and signs, Jesse Battle for making sure we had t-shirts, Steve Blair for gathering the cyclist, and President Joe, he drove the truck. Thank you, Joe. Now, I've saved the best news for last. The Oakland Rotary Club received an award for its float. And Mark, would you like to exhibit the float at this point? So this year was the 58th annual Piedmont 4th of July parade. Carla Betts was a long time chair of the parade, and our current parade chair, Kathy Kelleher, former member here of Oakland Rotary, is the current parade chair, and she's with us today. I was honored to serve as a parade judge along with the mayor, the police chief, who was also our grand marshal, and a school board member, and yes, I did disclose my conflict of interest. The top three parade awards are the Highland Cup, the Highland Saucer, and the Highland Spoon. As some of you know, the parade travels down Highland Avenue, so we have the Highland Cup, Saucer, and Spoon, and it is my privilege to present to the Piedmont Highland Spoon to the Rotary Club of Oakland. This award recognizes the Rotary Club's values of service and its outstanding creativity in this year's parade. Congratulations.
So my big thank you to Carla and to Michael for their, Carla Betts and Michael Bruck for their help, past presidents. But I also want to acknowledge one person that really made it happen, and that's Mark Rosen. He is an IT professional and owner of Infogate, and today he had a major emergency and called me and said, Joe, I might be a little late.
Here I am.
And that's what happened. But I want to thank you, Mark, in a special way. I want to thank you for all your years on the fun, sport, adventure. I think you're adding more to that committee as chair. But I also want to thank you for helping us win at the July 4th parade this year. And I want to present you with a Rotary on the Run medal.
Oh my God, what is this? I need to get my stuff.
You want to say a little something? You can join us up
I'm
here.
embarrassed. You know, this was a real team effort.
Come to the mic, Mark.
All right. This parade was a real team effort. I mean, everyone here who came, who participated, photos, input, you made it happen. It was so easy to manage this. It was unbelievable. But you have to, next year, come and see Joe drive the truck. It's amazing, this big truck with its shifting and its seat that bounces up and down. And he's all over the place. But next year, put it on your calendars. Next year, we're going to take it all. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Joe.
Jack, if you wouldn't mind wandering over this way
One
just a
second.
minute.
Hold on, Joe. I got another.
Just another bell ringer.
Oh, thank you very much.
I wanted to ring the bell for Mark Rosen, for all you do and for all you mean to this club. I also wanted to recognize Dwight Perry, who's a past district governor who donated a pile of those coins that we gave away to all the people during the parade, and it was a great time. Thanks, everybody.
Jack, I want to present you a Rotary on the Run medal. I know you'll display it in your case with pride. I want to thank you for sponsoring a new member to Oakland Rotary. Oakland Rotary can't survive without new members. Thank you. So Robert Rayburn, do we know who our next week's speaker is?
I sure do, President Gorelka.
Good
afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Mark your calendars for July 24th. That meeting, I want you to bring a guest. Do we have a photo? I should have an image up on the screen. There we go. Our guest is going to bring fun and inspiration. So bring your own guest. Our presenter will be David Hunt, the Executive and Artistic Director of the Prescott Circus Theater. It's an Oakland after-school program whose mission is to empower and engage youth as they develop confidence, teamwork, perseverance, artistic talent, and a dedication to working for success. Maybe you've seen them in front of the African Museum of the Diaspora during Martin Luther King Day, stilt walkers. These are great people. You have an opportunity to come see their show, a preview on Saturday at 2 p.m. at Framery Park, but come here and you'll hear from David Hunt firsthand.
Everybody loves a circus. It's going to be a great program. Jack and Marissa, would you wander to the back of the room so our Rotarians can greet you as they're leaving? I want to quickly thank Dan Cardenas for our meeting sponsor, Mayor Robertson for the thoughtful day, Sarah Chavez Yoel for a great speaker, Mark Rosen and team for the 4th of July parade win, Jack McAvoy for sponsoring a new member, Marissa Betts for joining Oakland Rotary. Yay!
Hey, Joe, one more thing. Pam Clausen is ringing the bell twice.
Oh, for?
For Marissa and Patti.
Oh! Thank you. Julie Fox, thank you for our lunch today. Carla Betts for the table decoration. Alex Posa and Armand and the AV team for the show. Jesse Bodo for coordination. Now I want you to remember, through Rotary, world peace will come someday. And we will end polio too. Look out, Oakland Rotary is on the run. This meeting is adjourned.